Hello everyone, I'm Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. Today we're going to be talking about Wild with the new Forged in the Barrens meta, and I'll talk to you about my legend run and which got me over the hump for the last couple wins, which is Call to Arms Paladin. So before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe below and leave some respectful comments on all of my videos. But let's get to it. So new Wild format in Forged in the Barrens. We had a lot of nerf reverts, so new cards coming in that were previously nerfed that are now good again, and it has really spiced up the meta. It's not just Secret Mage, Odd Paladin, and Reno Priest over and over again. Now we have some new things. The most obscene of them all, of course, is Call to Arms Paladin. So this deck is an absolute joke. It's completely unreal and it shouldn't be allowed to exist, but here it is. What makes this deck go? Well, firstly, we have the newly printed Sword of the Fallen, the 1/3 for 2 weapon that just puts secrets from your deck into play whenever it attacks, with a range of pretty decent secrets to back it up. And then we have Call to Arms, which for 4 mana was 5 for a long time. Now it's back to 4. Recruit 3 minions from your deck that cost 2 or less. So take them from your deck, put them right into play. What are we getting with these? Well, we're getting our old-time favorite Nerub'ar Weblord, which makes your all battle cries cost 2 more, and it's a 1/4 for 2 mana, so a little hard to remove. We have Crabrider, a 1/4 for 2 Rush Wind Fury, so this guy can help you control the board. And we have everybody's favorite, the most disgusting card that has ever been printed. It is Far Watchpost, 2/4 for 2, that every time your opponent draws a card, it makes it cost 1 more. So you get Call to Arms, you pull out a board full of shutdown minions, and then you buff them with Hand of Adol or with Blessing of Kings, and then while your opponent is stuck not being able to play anything, you just bash their face over and over with a Wind Fury buffed minion. If all else fails, you have a couple of backups in here. You have Blademaster Samuro with those aforementioned buffs. This guy, just with him and Hand of Adol, can usually clear your opponent's entire board with surprise damage and stick a body on there as well. So that is huge. So let's talk about where all of this comes from. So by the time you're done with Sword of the Fallen and Call to Arms, if you can cast them both, you have just pulled 12 cards from your deck into the board without having to play them. So if you can get 1 card onto the board from your deck without having to pay mana for it, you already have a crazy advantage. You all will remember Patches the Pirate, which has also been nerfed and has seen tons of play in Wild. This is a 1/1 minion that people build their entire decks around just to get it onto the board without paying to get a 29 card deck. So that's 1 card. This deck can get 12 cards onto the board without having to pay for it. And while they're getting stuff for free, they are also making stuff for you more expensive. So your battle cries cost 2 more, so you can't deal with this obscene board state. Your cards are costing more mana from Far Watchpost, so you can't draw outs. You have to already have outs in your hand. It is just completely frustrating and oppressive to play against. Like I said, I don't think that this is going to last very long because at least Sword of the Fallen is probably going to get changed. But it's absolutely gross to play against right now. The few games I play with this, I won almost all of them handily when I played with it. So it's really a joke right now. Does it have any weaknesses? Well, it is highly dependent on drawing these abusive cards. So if you don't draw Sword of the Fallen and you don't draw Call to Arms, it feels like you're playing with one hand tied behind your back because the regular stats of your minions are not very strong, and if you're not cheating them out into play, it's hard to keep up with some other Wild decks. When I was doing most of my Legend run with Odd Demon Hunter, I was playing pretty well against this deck because the curve is so low that I can usually just ignore Far Watchposts, which not too many decks can do. And then as long as you can take out those Crabriders, Nerub'ar Weblord is not really a big problem for Odd Demon Hunter, so most of the shutdown part of that deck goes away with Odd Demon Hunter. So that's one option. I also had some problems when I was using this deck against Control Warlock, oddly enough. Control Warlock usually relies on battle cries, but if you can get an early Void Caller into an early high statted minion like Mal'Ganis or the enhanced Dreadlord, that's really hard for this deck to deal with because it doesn't really have any removal aside from your minions. So the best option you have for removal is Blademaster Samuro, which can't get rid of Mal'Ganis, and you have Cariel Roame, the 4/3 Rush Divine Shield that decreases the cost of your holy spells when it attacks. So if they get out of Mal'Ganis, Cariel Roame is pretty much your only out to stop Mal'Ganis. So that's one way to do it is Control Warlock. But other than that, this deck doesn't really have hardly any bad matchups. Odd Demon Hunter and Control Warlock being the only two, I'd say, moderately difficult. Everything else was just steamrolled. It's pretty gross. Anyway, it is nice to see some new decks out there, but right now, Wild is a Paladin-infested hellscape, and it's going to be so until they at least nerf Sword of the Fallen and possibly after, depending on how it goes. But anyway, what are you guys seeing in Wild? Is it just Paladin over and over again for you? Is this deck good enough to take you to Legend as well? Let me know what you think. Leave some respectful comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and tune in next time.